Hello and welcome to Express News. In the next half an hour, we'll get you all the latest news and updates. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. We'll start with the top story. India pays homage to Father of the Nation Mahatma Gandhi on his 76th death anniversary. The day is also observed as Martyrs' Day. India's President Draupadi Murmu led the country in paying tributes to the Father of the Nation. She laid wreath at Mahatma Gandhi's memorial at Rajghat in Delhi. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar paid floral tributes to Mahatma Gandhi on his death anniversary. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi paid floral tributes to the Father of the Nation. Prime Minister and Vice President attended an interfaith prayer meeting that was organized at Gandhi Smriti. The nation observes the 76th death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. A national conference on strategic trade controls was organized by the Directorate General of Foreign Trade at New Delhi. It was attended by various experts in foreign trade. India's Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated the computerization scheme for the offices of Agricultural and Rural Development Bank and Registrar of Cooperative Societies in all states and union territories in New Delhi. Ahead of India's interim budget session of Parliament, the government held a meeting with leaders from various political parties in New Delhi. India's President Draupadi Murmu has nominated Chandigarh University Chancellor Satnam Singh Sandhu to the upper house of the Indian Parliament. Sandhu, one of India's leading educationists and is actively involved in large-scale community efforts to improve health and wellness. Maiden flight under the Udan RCS initiative takes off in the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand. India's Minister of Civil Aviation Jyotiraditya Scindia virtually launched the flight. The flight route connects states' top tourist spots Dehradun and Pithoragarh and will operate twice a week. INS Sumitra rescued fishing vessel Al Naimi and her crew, including 19 Pakistani nationals, from 11 armed Somali pirates after intercepting the FV on Monday. The Indian Navy's indigenous offshore patrol vessel had been deployed for anti-piracy and maritime security operations east of Somalia and Gulf of Aden. The inaugural edition of the India-Saudi Arabia joint military exercise called Sadatan Sikh commenced on Monday at Mahajan in Rajasthan. The exercise will conclude on 10th February. The exercise aims to train the troops of both sides for joint operations in semi-desert terrain under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. India's Finance Ministry released a report, Indian Economy, a review, which says that India is expected to grow at 7% in the next 2 years. The report also said that India can aim to be a $7 trillion economy by 2030. The report said the government's policies strengthen the supply side with investment in physical and digital infrastructure to boost output. The report also said that India is expected to become the third largest economy in the world soon, with a GDP or gross domestic product of $5 trillion. The Indian markets ended in red on Tuesday. Sensex fell 801.67 points to settle at 71,139.90 points, while Nifty tanks 215.50 points to 21,522.10 points. Rupee settles 5 paise higher at 83.11 against the US dollar. Gold future maturing on 5th February next year stood at Rs 62,414 per 10 grams on Multi-Commodity Exchange of India Limited. Silver futures maturing on 5th March next year stood at Rs 72,261 per kg on the MCX. Asian stocks tumbled on Tuesday as the court ordered liquidation of property giant China Evergrande weighed on sentiment, while geopolitical tensions lifted oil prices and dented risk appetite ahead of the Federal Reserve's meeting. Egypt is exploring the possibility of issuing bonds in Emirati dirhams, Indian rupees and Hong Kong dollars, marking a novel approach to diversifying its financial strategy. India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Kwatra met with Bhutan's new elected Prime Minister Lyochen, sharing top guide. During his visit, he reaffirmed the close bonds of friendship between the two nations and assured Lyochen of India's firm commitment to partner with Bhutan. He also met Bhutan's Foreign Minister Leonpo Kyungyel and discussed important bilateral matters of mutual interest. Dense fog continues to grip northern India, including the national capital Delhi, as a thick layer of fog blanketed the city amid cold weather conditions causing low visibility. In northern India's Jammu and Kashmir, heavy snowfall blanketed the Pir Panjal range with thick snow causing road blockades. The Mughal Road, a vital link to the range, has been closed due to the snowfall. Chile's Santiago is currently on red alert due to an intense heat wave sweeping the capital. The challenging situation is causing widespread concerns about public health as people experience sweltering conditions throughout the entire week. Residents sought relief from the heat by congregating around the city's fountains as temperatures soared to 33 degrees Celsius. Given the extreme UV index, authorities are advising individuals to stay indoors, remain well hydrated, and take measures to keep themselves cool. Spain will work under some new drought measures. The decision was announced by Spain's Andalusia authorities due to the severe water shortage, with reservoirs nearly empty. The approved plan includes funding for expanding desalination facilities and enhancing reservoir infrastructure. Locals and shepherds noted the worsening drought as water levels plummeted. Officials in southern cities anticipate water restrictions by summer unless significant rainfall occurs. Argentina's Los Alerces National Park has experienced fires that have shot over 1,000 hectares, causing heavy smoke. The park, declared a UNESCO World Natural Heritage Site in 2017, is currently experiencing difficulties due to weather conditions. The authorities have launched an investigation into the situation. A Pakistani court has handed country's former Prime Minister Imran Khan a 10-year jail term for leaking state secrets. The case against Imran Khan pertains to allegations that he had shared contents of a secret cable sent by the country's ambassador in Washington to the government in Islamabad. Pakistan court also handed former Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi a 10-year jail alongside former Prime Minister Imran Khan for leaking state secrets. Taiwan showcased submarine detection and early warning aircraft at Pingtung Air Base in a show of readiness from Taiwan's Air Force ahead of upcoming Lunar New Year holidays. Hong Kong Chief Executive John Lee confirmed his intention to pass tighter national security laws soon to build on sweeping legislation Beijing imposed on the city in 2020. Vietnam and Philippines have agreed to boost cooperation among their coast guards and to prevent untoward incidents in the South China Sea. South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol is expected to veto a bill that would initiate a fresh probe with an independent panel into the Halloween crowd crush that killed over 150 people in 2022. A huge fire that broke out in a chicken farm in Bryan, Texas, has been contained to 2 buildings and is also expected to burn for days. Several fire departments were still battling the large blaze. Iranian Foreign Ministry denied the country's involvement in a drone attack targeting US forces in Jordan, saying the accusation is baseless and provocative. Israel's army released a video showing airstrikes on Hezbollah military sites at the village of Yarun in South Lebanon. Northern Ireland's Democratic Unionist Party said it reached a deal with the British government on the operation of post-Brexit trade rules that would allow the party to return to the region's power-sharing government. South Korea said the North fired multiple unidentified cruise missiles into the sea off its west coast, marking the third time Pyongyang has tested cruise missiles in less than a week. 5 suspects were arrested in the fatal shootings of 6 people in a desolate patch of California's Mojave Desert. Officials said the killings are believed to have stemmed from a dispute over the drug trade. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak won the first vote in House of Lords on his legislation to revive a plan to send asylum seekers to Rwanda. The US said it is not looking for a war with Iran or seeking to escalate the tensions in the West Asia after the attack in which 3 US soldiers were killed and more than 40 were wounded. 7 children were killed in northeast Nigeria after an improvised explosive device IED exploded after the kids mistook it for a scrap metal. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the US is expecting Hungary to approve Sweden's NATO accession in the weeks ahead. The Pentagon said it does not believe that Iran is seeking a war with the United States and that Washington doesn't want a war either, a day after an Iran-backed group killed 3 US soldiers and wounded dozens more in Jordan. The US said Nicolas Maduro's regime in Venezuela has until April to meet its commitments to allow opposition parties and candidates to run for office in this year's elections. The US military released photos of the 3 soldiers that were killed in a drone attack in Jordan by Iran-backed militants. 2 of the soldiers that died were in their 20s. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken said the latest proposal to secure the release of hostages in Gaza is strong and compelling. He said there is a strong alignment among the countries involved in negotiations. Blinken also said the US will look hard at what steps the UNRWA takes in response to deeply troubling allegations that its staff was involved in the October 7 attack on Israel. Venezuelan opposition candidate Maria Corina Machado said she would not move aside in favor of a substitute despite a decision by country's Supreme barring her from holding office. The White House said that negotiations aimed at reaching a new deal with Hamas on the release of Gaza hostages have been constructive, but much work remains to be done. White House said the launch of a US-China counter-narcotics working group will begin on January 30th. This collaboration follows meeting of President Joe Biden and China Xi held in November 2023. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said closing borders was demagogic amid a possible deal in the US that could see the country's northern neighbor close the shared border in special circumstances. Hungarian Foreign Minister Peter Szijjártó arrived in Ukraine for talks with senior officials days before a European Union summit that will seek agreement on a financial aid package that has been held up by Hungary. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres met with the head of internal UN investigations to ensure that an inquiry into Israeli accusations against staff at UNRWA will be done swiftly and as efficiently as possible. Israelis protested on a road in Tel Aviv, calling for the immediate release of hostages. Protesters waved Israeli flags, chanted and carried posters with photos of some of the 136 hostages still held in Gaza. The International Criminal Court's chief prosecutor told the United Nations Security Council that there were grounds to believe that both Sudan's regular army and the rapid support forces have been committing war crimes in Darfur at present. Qatar's Prime Minister said he hoped US retaliation for an attack that killed US troops in Jordan would not undercut progress towards a new Israel-Hamas hostage release deal in weekend talks. Carlos Bolsonaro, a son of former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, was targeted by federal police raids in an investigation related to his father. Brazilian federal police searched properties linked to Carlos Bolsonaro as part of a probe into suspected illegal spying on a political force during his father's term. A group of French farmers erected a wall of hay to block a highway towards Paris during a day of blockades that saw tractors congesting major highways. Georgian Prime Minister Irakli Garibashvili resigned from office, saying he wanted to allow his replacement time to prepare for parliamentary elections due in October. Poland sent an official motion to join the European Public Prosecutor's Office (EPPO) The Independent Public Prosecution Office of the European Union, which deals with cases affecting the bloc's financial interests. Elon Musk, Neuralink's billionaire founder, said the first human received an implant from the brain chip startup and was recovering well. Musk has called first Neuralink product telepathy, which will assess the functionality of the interface that enables people with paralysis of all four limbs to control devices with their thoughts. Colombian National Police seized 130 poisonous dart frogs at the El Dorado International Airport in Bogota. The frogs were being transported inside film canisters by a Brazilian citizen. Sheepskin-clad Joal-Dunac dancers in the northern Spanish town of Uterine welcome the awakening of the earth in unseasonably warm temperatures in early carnival celebrations. Wax figure of Yoga Guru Ramdev unveiled at an event of Marine Resorts, New York in New Delhi. Hanuman has minted a total of 174.45 crore rupees in the domestic box office collection. The film has crossed the 250 crore rupee mark worldwide earlier. Hrithik Roshan and Deepika Padukone, star of Fighter, earned 118.50 crore rupees in its opening weekend. The film's worldwide collection stands at 225 crore rupees. Indian composer A.R. Rahman's latest track, Timeri Yazuda from the movie Lal Salam, features AI voices of two late singers, Bamba Bakia and Shahul Hamid. The 2.0 actor Amy Jackson announced the wrap of her upcoming action thriller film Crack on social media. The film is starring Vidya Jamwal in lead is set to release in theatres worldwide on 23rd February 2024. Actress Amy Jackson also announced her engagement on Instagram to actor and musician Ed Westwick. Reality TV star Kim Kardashian is set to execute, produce and feature in an upcoming docu-series about actor Elizabeth Taylor. The series has been commissioned in a 3-part documentary and will explore Elizabeth Taylor's life as a major Hollywood star and later a business woman and activist. The highly anticipated Marvel movie Deadpool 3 has wrapped up its filming schedule and its plot synopsis has released online. In Deadpool 3, Ryan Reynolds is set to revisit his character as Wade Wilson once more. In X-Men, Hugh Jackman will join him as Wolverine. Former cricketers have come out in support of Kuldeep Yadav's inclusion in the 11 against England in the second test at Vizag. Indian batter Mushir Khan smashed second century of Under-19 Cricket World Cup against New Zealand. Mushir Khan smashed 131 of 126 deliveries. The International Cricket Council on Tuesday released the latest women's T20I bowler rankings. India's Deepti Sharma has climbed to joint second place. In the batting rankings, India's vice-captain Smriti Mandhana maintained her fourth position, leading among Indian players. Shomar Joseph has been ruled out of his ILT20 stint with Dubai Capitals due to toe injury he picked up during the Gaba test. Mohammad Rahil's hat-trick went in vain as India suffered a 4-7 defeat to the Netherlands in the quarterfinals of FIH Hockey 5's Men's World Cup on Tuesday. Having already secured Paris Olympics berth, Punjab's Akshdeep Singh shattered his own national record en route retaining the men's 20-kilometer title at the National Open race walking competition on Tuesday. A long applause broke out at Rome Fiumicino Airport on Tuesday to greet the return of Yannick Sinner, the first Italian to win a tennis Grand Slam trophy in 48 years. Sinner beat Russia's Daniil Medvedev in the final of the Australian Open on Sunday. Inter Milan kicked off their tour of Saudi Arabia by losing to Al Hilal 4-3 on Monday. Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva received a 4-year doping ban from the Court of Arbitration for sport. Alright, that's all we have in this edition of Express News. You stay tuned for more news and updates. Namaskar.